Imagine waking up tomorrow. Your phone won't stop vibrating. Hundreds of notifications, thousands, millions. Before you can even unlock it, your television suddenly turns on. Breaking news. Your face fills the entire screen. Authorities have confirmed that the most wanted person on Earth has finally been identified. It's you. You don't recognize the crime they're talking about. You don't remember doing any of it. But none of that matters anymore. Because by the time you look outside, your neighbors are already staring. Some are filming. Others are backing away. Within minutes, the entire world believes you're the most dangerous person alive. At first, you think someone hacked the news. Maybe it's a deepfake. Maybe someone who looks exactly like you. It has to be, because you've never robbed a bank. You've never killed anyone. You've never even been inside a police station. You grab your phone. Your social media is exploding. Millions of comments. Thousands of death threats. People you've never met are begging the police to find you before it's too late. Then your phone rings. It's your mother. Relief washes over you. Finally, someone who knows the truth. You answer immediately. Mom. She doesn't let you finish. If this is really you, don't come home. Your heart stops. I don't know what you did, but the police were already here. They told us not to contact you. We're being watched. The line goes dead. You call again. No answer. Again. Nothing. Then your father's number disappears. Your sister blocks you. Your best friend blocks you. Within minutes, everyone you've ever known cuts every connection. Not because they know you're guilty, because they're terrified that knowing you could make them the next target. You rush outside. The street feels different. People whisper the moment they see your face. Parents pull their children closer. Cars lock their doors as they pass. Someone points at you. Another person starts recording. Within seconds, you hear the words, "No innocent person ever wants to hear." That's him. Your breathing becomes heavier. You start walking faster, then running. Behind you, more voices join in. "He's getting away!" A delivery driver abandons his bike just to keep filming you. Live streams begin. Your location spreads across the internet faster than you can move. For the first time in your life, you realize something terrifying. You don't need to be guilty for the whole world to hunt you. You duck into a narrow alley, hoping to disappear. Instead, your phone vibrates again. Emergency alert. Do not approach this individual. Your own face appears on the government warning. Every phone nearby receives the exact same notification. People stop walking. They look up, then they look at you. For one horrifying second, the entire street goes silent. Then someone screams, "He's here!" Panic erupts. People scatter in every direction. Not because they're trying to escape, because they're trying to escape you. You run. Your heartbeat pounds louder than the sirens behind you. Every traffic camera, every security camera, every smartphone has become your enemy. Somewhere, an artificial intelligence is tracking your every movement. Every time someone uploads a photo, your location updates instantly. You can't hide because the entire internet has become one giant surveillance system. Within an hour, your face is everywhere. Airports, train stations, shopping malls, gas stations, digital billboards. Every screen on Earth is telling people to report you immediately. Then something impossible happens. A stranger sees you, but instead of running, he quietly whispers, "This way." Confused, you follow him into an abandoned warehouse. For the first time all day, you're finally safe, or so you think. The man studies your face carefully. Then he asks, "What did you really do?" "I don't know." "You don't remember?" "I swear, I've never committed any crime." The stranger stares at you, trying to decide whether you're lying or terrified. Then he turns on an old television. Breaking news. Authorities announce that the reward for your capture has increased again. $10 million, $20 million, $50 million. The number keeps climbing until finally the screen flashes one sentence. Unlimited government authorization granted. No arrest warrant, no trial, no explanation, just one objective. Find him, dead or alive. The stranger's expression changes instantly. Moments ago, he wanted to help. Now he sees something else. A fortune. You slowly step backward. "So, you're going to turn me in?" He doesn't answer. He doesn't need to. His eyes already have. You run again. Behind you, the warehouse door bursts open. Not by police, not by soldiers, but by ordinary people. Teachers, taxi drivers, office workers, neighbors. People who were living completely normal lives just this morning. Now, every one of them is chasing you, because sometimes fear is powerful, but money is even stronger. And as you disappear into the crowd, one terrifying realization finally hits you. This isn't a manhunt anymore. It's a world where every human being has become the hunter. Night falls, but darkness doesn't help anymore, because you're no longer hiding from people. You're hiding from technology. Every airport has your face. Every border crossing has your name. Every train station, every highway toll booth, every security checkpoint is waiting for you. You decide to disappear. No phone, no credit cards, no internet, no cameras, just you and the road. For a few hours, it actually works. No sirens, no helicopters, no crowds, just silence. Maybe you finally escaped. Then you stop at a small gas station. The old cashier barely looks at you. You grab a bottle of water, some bread, and hand him cash. He freezes, not because he recognizes you, but because the tiny security camera above the register already has. A soft beep echoes through the store. The cashier slowly looks toward the screen. His eyes widen. Without saying a word, he quietly steps backward and presses a small red button beneath the counter. You don't know what it does until every exit door automatically locks. Your pulse explodes. You throw yourself against the glass door. It won't open. Outside, people begin gathering. First 5, then 20, then 50. Not one of them knows you, yet every single one looks at you with the exact same expression. Fear, hatred, curiosity, as if they're staring at a monster they've only heard stories about. Then someone shouts, "Keep him inside!" Another yells, "The police are coming!" You finally manage to smash a side window and dive into the darkness. Glass scatters across the pavement. Behind you, the crowd cheers, not because you escaped, but because now they're part of the hunt. You keep running, your legs burn, your lungs ache. Hours pass, until finally you reach the edge of a forest. No cameras, no buildings, no people, just trees. For the first time since this nightmare began, you breathe. You sit beneath an old tree, trying to understand how your entire life disappeared in less than 24 hours. Then you hear footsteps. One pair, slow, careful. You stand, ready to run again. But it's not a soldier, not a police officer, not a bounty hunter. An old man steps out from the shadows. He doesn't look afraid. He doesn't reach for his phone. Instead, he looks directly into your eyes and quietly says, "I've been waiting for you." Your heart skips a beat. What do you mean? The old man takes one slow step closer, then says something that makes your blood run cold. You're not the first person this has happened to. The old man doesn't look surprised. He looks sad, almost as if he already knows exactly how this story ends. You stare at him. What do you mean? I'm not the first. He slowly sits down on a fallen tree, then quietly says, "Tell me something. When was the last time someone looked at you without fear?" You can't answer because you honestly can't remember. The old man smiles, not because he's happy, but because your silence already gave him the answer. Then he says something that completely changes the way you see your situation. The world isn't hunting you because it knows you're guilty. It's hunting you because everyone else is. You frown. He picks up a single leaf from the ground. If I told one person this leaf was poisonous, they'd probably ignore me. But if 1,000,000 people believed it, most would never dare touch it. He lets the leaf fall, not because the leaf changed, because belief did. You feel your heartbeat slowing. So you're saying nobody actually knows what I did? The old man nods. They don't need evidence. They only need certainty. And certainty is incredibly easy to manufacture. You think back to this morning. Not one person had ever accused you directly. Not one person had explained the crime. Everyone simply accepted what everyone else already believed. A strange feeling begins growing inside you. Not relief, something worse. If the whole world decided you were evil, would anyone ever stop to ask if it was true? The old man looks toward the distant city lights. History is full of people who were hated long before anyone proved they deserved it. And it's also full of guilty people who were celebrated simply because everyone believed the story they were told. For several seconds, neither of you speaks. The forest is completely silent. Then your phone vibrates. You froze. The battery should have died hours ago, yet somehow the screen lights up. One notification, No sender, no number, just 6 words. Stop running. Start remembering. Your hands begin to shake. Remember what? You don't remember committing any crime. You don't remember meeting this old man. You don't remember any missing part of your life. The old man sees the message. His expression changes instantly. For the first time, he looks genuinely afraid. He slowly stands and whispers, "They found you." You hear it a second later. Not sirens, not helicopters. Something much quieter. The distant hum of a drone, then another and another. Tiny lights begin appearing between the trees, moving closer, searching. The old man grabs your arm. If you want the truth, you have to let the whole world keep believing you're the villain, because the moment they stop chasing you, they'll start chasing whoever created the lie. Before you can ask what he means, the forest suddenly lights up like daylight. Dozens of searchlights sweep across the trees. A loudspeaker echoes through the darkness. You are surrounded. The old man looks at you one last time and says quietly, "This was never about catching you. It was about making everyone else believe they already had." The searchlights grow brighter. The forest disappears beneath a sea of white light. Voices echo from every direction. Do not move. Keep your hands where we can see them. For a brief moment, you consider running. But where? The entire world already knows your face. The old man slowly raises his hands. He doesn't resist. He simply looks at you and says, "Listen carefully. You still think this story began this morning? It didn't. It began years ago." Your mind races. What are you talking about? He takes a slow breath, then points toward your head. The crime everyone believes you committed isn't the one you should be afraid of. The real crime was committed against you. Before you can ask another question, armed officers rush through the trees. Within seconds, you're surrounded. No one fires. No one speaks. They simply stare at you, almost like they're waiting for something. One officer steps forward. He removes his helmet, then quietly says, "I'm sorry." You blink. "What?" He lowers his eyes. "I know you don't remember." Your heart pounds. "You know me?" He nods. "I used to." Silence. "You volunteered." The words hit you like ice water. "Volunteered for what?" The officer hesitates, as if saying the answer could destroy everything. Then he whispers, "The Memory Project." You stare at him. The name means nothing, yet somehow it feels familiar, like hearing a song you haven't listened to since childhood. Tiny flashes begin appearing inside your mind. A bright white laboratory, doctors wearing blue coats, machines surrounding a chair, your own signature on a stack of papers. Then everything vanishes. You grab your head. Pain shoots through your skull. "What did you do to me?" The officer doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he looks toward the old man. The old man quietly nods, almost giving permission. Finally, the officer speaks. "Years ago, the government started asking one impossible question. What would happen if every memory connected to a single human being could be erased? Not just from one person, from everyone." You stare in disbelief. He continues, "They weren't trying to erase a criminal. They were trying to erase an idea. They believed that if nobody remembered someone, it would be exactly the same as if that person had never existed." You whisper, "So, I'm the experiment?" The officer closes his eyes. "No, you were the scientist who designed it." Everything stops. Your breathing, your thoughts, even time itself. "No." You shake your head violently. "That's impossible. I would never create something like this." The old man finally speaks. "You didn't? You created it to cure Alzheimer's, to help people keep the memories they loved." His voice grows heavier. But once the technology worked, someone realized it could also erase them. A long silence follows. Then the old man looks directly into your eyes, and when you tried to stop them, they erased the only person who knew how to expose the truth. He points at you. You, far above the trees, a helicopter hovers. Its spotlight locks onto your face. The officer reaches slowly into his pocket and pulls out a tiny metal flash drive. He presses it into your hand. Everything you forgot is inside this. Before you can ask another question, a single gunshot echoes through the forest. The officer's eyes widen. He collapses. The flash drive slips into your hand. The old man grabs your arm. "Run!" Because now, it isn't the world that's hunting you. It's the people who can never let you remember. You run. Branches tear at your clothes. Your lungs burn. The flash drive is still clutched tightly in your hand. Somewhere behind you, the helicopters continue searching. But after hours of running, the forest finally becomes quiet. You collapse beside a small lake. For the first time, you're completely alone. Your hands tremble as you plug the flash drive into an old abandoned laptop inside a deserted cabin. One file appears. Project memory. You hesitate, then you press play. The screen flickers. A man appears. It's you, not the frightened version of you, the old you, confident, calm, looking directly into the camera. He smiles. If you're watching this, then they succeeded. A chill runs down your spine. The man on the screen continues. I know you don't remember making this recording, but I do. We created this technology to save memories, to save families from Alzheimer's, to stop people from losing the ones they loved. His smile slowly disappears. But governments don't see inventions the way ordinary people do. They see weapons. They realized that if they could erase every memory of one person, they wouldn't need prisons. They wouldn't need assassins. They could simply erase someone's existence without killing them. You stare silently. The video continues. So before they reached me, I erased one final thing, my own memories. You freeze. I hid the truth inside the only place they couldn't erase, you. Suddenly, everything begins coming back. The laboratory, the signatures, the meetings, the arguments, the moment you refused to hand over the technology, the old man, the officer, every missing piece returns all at once. Tears fill your eyes, not because you finally remember, because you finally understand. The world never hated you. The world never knew you. It hated the story it had been told. You close the laptop. The sun slowly rises over the lake. For the first time, you stop running. Maybe you'll never get your old life back. Maybe your parents will never remember raising you. Maybe your friends will never remember laughing with you. Maybe your name will never be cleared. But then, you remember something the little girl asked months ago. What's your name? She didn't know your past. She didn't know your history. She simply accepted the person standing in front of her. And suddenly, everything makes sense. Your life was never defined by who remembered yesterday. It was always defined by what you choose to become today. History can erase records. Governments can erase identities. Time can erase memories. But no one can erase your character, because character isn't stored inside photographs or databases or other people's minds. It's revealed by the choices you make when everything else has been taken away. Maybe that's why being remembered was never the greatest victory. Becoming someone worth remembering was, because one day, every photograph will fade, every record will disappear, every name will eventually be forgotten, but every act of kindness, every life you change, every person you inspire, creates memories that continue long after you're gone. So perhaps the real question was never, what if you became the world's most wanted person? Perhaps the real question is, who would you still choose to be if the whole world believed you were the villain? Fade to black.